Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the endpoint of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequal, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as the truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Tayata, Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisattva. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoiced. The Bhagavan having thus spoken, the venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. To page 25 for the short mandala. Sashi Pogi Jushi Meitao Dram, Riva Mishi Nidi Gyambadi, Sangye Shingdu Mite Uagi, Trokunanda Shinla Chuparasho, Chetsa Lama Dampa Yenam Ye, Chogu Kala Genze Dindine, Cheta Sambe Tuche Sin Mala, Samye Chuji Chawa Abdu Sulam. Idam Guru Rana Mandala Kandiniyataya Sanje Shedan Soje Chanama Chanjo Pado Dane Jason Sage Shujin Jive Sonamji Dola Penche Sanje Drupa Sanje Shedan Soje Chanama Chanjo Pado Dane Jason Sage Shujin Jive Sonamji Dola Penche Sanje Drupa Sanje Shedan Soje Chanama Chanjo Pado Dane Jason Sage Shujin Jive Sonamji Dola Penche Sanje Drupa 강에는 제녀서에 다와도 제가 많이 되시는 데제 보던 데라 찾아. 본인이 제서네 저배나 시지스에 간제된 데가 전화가 만들 되죠. 소화도 전에는 반대로 말하면 맞이 다음에 찍을 텐데. 가든 신배고는 제선데 고선도 영어로 돼도서
There's one question. What do you think of organ transplant? It has to be done as soon as the donor passed away, within a few hours. Kisla kasik shine susu chimba ningba tenzu pa pög yorba teg rami shimba. Ti shakjo chen uni chen ti lamsang tegare mato chusu sum nang ne te togare mato mateyati. Ti yabudu mundu kirangi samlo.
Di yabu yo mara ngone shina. Di tab mi shiyo mara ro. 마시고네 디파드나 페조라 나숙 용고래라 디 천자열이다 디르와 단다 미카셰 열에 수수 당당가라 디 세기여와 시글라월라 셈바 유로여와 아니 딜라 셈글 르마다나나 디냥가 첨부 베레데 낭베초데 셰베이나 디 비제 미직 세베 녀바로 레야 냥가도 와데 미시메 와든다 와 시메 와데
This does not seem so good because in some stages the person won't have completely died, and it's strange, although the person might have made that commitment in writing, there is a possibility also that at the time of death the mind itself is going through change. And also there might be, from the perspective of Buddha Dharma, that could almost be like killing.
딘데 용고도 앞에나 디디 페나 먼저 다 종아팀이 두시지 풍부가르드 두시지 풍부가르드 아니 꼭 주어체기도
Yeah,
다 디디 시발라거로 와다 디디 시샬라거로 와
yeah,
디디 단다 시민도 와 디제라 단다 군도 제주디에 디가도글 팀도 고이게다 페진
yeah.
아니 델라 단다 투즈 군도 제주로 투즈 가지고 그 예매돼서 따주러 봐 아니 나오가는 거 처음만 봐 니도 나는 바디 나제 도숨디 제 딜리길 하대 여러 안데 내 지외외세 샤워 세상 디디니 딘데 가도라 풍부라 엔데체나 수수 풍부라 샥주 제바다 딘데 돈은 콘도사인가 여러 아니 콘도사나 데베두자 차로 겨치마 니손라 제냐가 여러 당이 손을 제니 전화한 되기요래 아데데 데지 디 ken자시도 와라 디
later. Well, first you have the grosser levels of dissolution relating to the elements, isn't it? And when the faculty of discrimination dissolves, the breath changes and then slowly ceases or stops, which we would say, according to our system, is clinically dead. But there is still a process of these grosser levels of consciousness dissolving into more subtle levels with these 80 conceptual thoughts dissolving. Now, how long that takes? Because yet, again, one has to go through, the white appearance, red increase, black near attainment, and then yet to come as that final fundamental clear light mind of death dawning. And if the organ interference and or operation were to take place during that, there's a possibility that being could generate anger, and then the result of generating such anger would be a future life in an unfortunate rebirth. So if you want to have that experience, well and good, but otherwise it would seem strange to interfere. There's a danger to go to the animal realm or lower realm.
세상에 차기도 앞에나 먼저 미카시에 된데 냠냠충도 베나 액시던트 체 나를 된데 미카시 투스라
Yeah.
아니 액시던트 체 아니 관하게 남시에 파트 아니 수불을 주다가도 쓰기도라 남시 코나 남시 있던 나 파트 수부대샤 아니 수부대 앰뷸런스나 주로라다 아니 그 앰뷸런스나 님도라도 맹간나라도 멤버들 하고 라고제 그랬어 라고도사 그 라고 맞아 내 라고제 면서 라고요래 멤버하고 그요 말에 아니 라고제가 통 콘도 쉬어지 사서 배 콘도 사서 멤버들 중에 라고제는 같이 다 네네가라 야다 템바스디 요말 라고제 사러 야다 템바터디 디네가라다 심 라고디게 토르레 다디 심 타모디 그 따디기 요르바 제일 야 첨바세요 인디 상가라 라고제 살다 라고제 살도 멤버를 처럼서 네 처럼서 퍼미션 때면서 멤버가 하고 막 첨바더 하고 막 멤버들 저랑 심 축사래서 저랑 축사래서 저랑 레버 축사래서 저랑 레베 제 축으래서
Ale member kirang labirwa.
네발
Nebala e.
네바디 레버 축으래서 저랑 딘데 ngoy니 딘데 요 말했어 라고도사 근데 나라 미망고 labdio 저랑 뇽바래서 라고도사 나라 게지티선데 뇽바 말했어 다랑 레스 저랑 심 라고디 간 심 참모디 내가 나한테 대래 되게 저랑 미파 통고래 미 저랑 수 통고요 말했어 디간저 남배슌나 다가나 요레스 저랑 용바 말했어 다다 레스티 이나 콘저 멤베티 하고요 말했어 콘저 라요 말했어
Ale gisle ginyamyong di paripu di accident che barba.
ini
Kadlabge di jumdi.
yeah for English then you can have okay
Yes, better.
I made 1 or 2 3 people accident and then the first car accident and then the ambulance coming and they saw their body person they saw he or she her body saw and then they put body put in the ambulance right
Yeah.
then she went together and then go to hospital and hospital or doctor said oh this need arm need cut it and this she said no don't cut my arm and then doctor no listening no listening and they cut it her arm and she's so upset and then sometimes blood's coming then her consciousness coming back and her see her let arm gone this arm gone and she give complaint the doctor I didn't give you permission where you cutting my arm doctor said we never heard you complaint because and then the old doctor nurse everyone said you are crazy your brain is a little bit something wrong they're talking chemical and most people say you have become crazy and they ask me what happened this I said you are not crazy this is right because that time your gross consciousness doesn't work your subtle consciousness come out body and then you're watching your other people don't see you see other people exactly similar part like that this is not only one person lost I met 3 here New Zealand I met 3 in India I think 1 or 2 in Tibet is some people like that this is reality this is reality and at that time so upset they're very touched to their body that time that time you maybe forgot your signature give organ you don't remember you give your organ heart or brain they cut it they don't cut my heart and the doctor don't know this is then so upset become angry this is a very very bad cause karma arising Laura
Yeah.
arising for next lap become rebirth and tiger dog and snake something like that oh a little bit danger 네 건서 어디디 낭배 흉내 챘는다 디다 나국난에 차된 산이 되셨는데 jonch네요 말에 남시 된 산에 다 배조 갈 때문에 다 요요 말와 남시 된배 따는 게 라산지도 나국난에 차된 보다 수불로 디모카윤디 미시지 디딩일 남시 대대여로 근데 제일다 그때 가르치셨는다고 계획해요 말다 아니 되셨는 뒤로 가르치는 뒤로다
Yeah. Yeah, so from a Buddhist perspective, unless there are these signs of blood coming out of the nostrils or the body giving off an odor, the signs that the mental consciousness has left, then in that sense, unless there are those signs, the mental consciousness can be assumed to be inside. So.
제가 디딜라고 그래. 시드 나나군나네 차도야데 가래스와. 좀제 가래라데. 데탄데 통마가서 다 남시디 아메코가나 로라. 아니 아메게 쿠다다 바웨게 쿠다니 요라 바 말레데베 캄마고당 팔라드네 캄 까보세요 그러봐. 저단 캄 까보디게 마비자잡. 그러봐. 마비자자 하도 마비자잡. 마보디게 야비자잡. 대지들라 아니 치심 참모디 심 참모디 대대들 담당한서 아메 토마 아메게 감다 저런 인지식을 가르가 있는 거죠. 남배식을 감 마우스 그래요. 타.
Yeah.
아니 바워디 쿠어가우디 디 거우캅자스디 디마 비자제 야 비자제 독 대대다. 다 대기라 아니 심 참모디 진지 대대로. 다시르드 심 대바 되어라다. 근데 아니 타디 야 비자제 대자네. 타디 야 비자제 나구나네 되 아니 디 코어디 마체 메체멘나네 마 되는 거. 두스레다. 지금 비자제 대대라. 지금 야 비자제 대대로. 남시 되면다가 야르니데 야남 차도 도스 야레도 아니 나구나네 마
Kabudi Mahasa, right?
가우드 마사 마우드 야 되는 거. 어디 다 저런 미신도즈 따다 따제시 따다 요르데.
What you can check dying people as to the validity of this, and the question comes, why is there a sign of blood coming out of the nostril? Because when the consciousness initially at birth or conception enters the womb of the mother, it is in dependence upon the mind entering the twofold blood of the mother and semen of the father, and being almost encapsulated between those two properties or two seeds. So the subtle mind resides there. And there's, at the time of death,
No, first try. Mother is pushing up, and father is
yeah, I'm not finished
pushing
yet.
down.
Yeah, yeah,
Between the struck there.
yeah. Not finished yet, Ishla. You can go in English.
Yeah, you try now.
Okay. So the blood is coming up or pushing up from the mother, and the downward from the weight of the father. So therefore, the subtle mind is encapsulated between those, but at the time of death, the blood, the subtle mind has to exit, being kind of cushioned between those two seeds of blood and semen. So the blood forces its way up out through the nostril, and the white bodhicitta from the father often exits through the lower region. So that's what happens at death. So you can check that and see its validity.
어디 다 수부배 매망보 산여들을 통구면 알아.
Yeah.
수부 당당히 얘들을 네 통구도 티세우도. 아 이게 근데 가 숨지 통스라. 지 통무선 가서는 수부다 로망보 매사르와 수부배 교우 차장이 들어.
Yeah.
디디나를 베제나를 요래 수부 교월라 따디 세부 통구 말해. 지나밀라다 통구래서 내야 근데 내가 미 총리 통변은 미 숨절라데 나라 배마 통구면 나고 부대 대대도. 딜레데 마 티버 제금도 로. 디고 누스타르와 니 딜라 마오지 뒤주데 나보르와 니 마오데 데마 카셰마데 되기도 쿠와데 칠로를 배통도 쿠와죠라 칠로를 된대기도 어디 양 쳐와요 말이서 부조도 들러 통구면도.
And it is normally the case that if the body is healthy, that sign of blood coming out the nostril will be there. But if the person has taken a lot of medication, the signs may not be so clear. And this is stated in the medical texts, that if a person is of poor health and or taken lots of medication, the signs might not appear so clearly. Now, the blood coming out of the nostril doesn't often fall outside. It often just hangs there as a drop, as a drop in the nostril. But the white seed at the base, that is emitted.
No, 제가 디 아주 미 당당이나 당다디 옥여로.
Yep.
수부 야고요나 옥 파당 추두에들라 쇼스칼레 차르도. 미양 로첨보도 옥디베 섭섭 제제 통로다. 야 총야디야 로첨보라 총야디 렐하이스르와. 그래서는 중앙팀이야디 그러나 배 렐하보 지간 팀도 있으라. 배나 한당에 어구도 스탈로 데려와서 두주리 구제래 수부 빼면서 타고 요인서 옥들 깔래 쉬지 총서 우파 땅 수도 말아 봐. 디카둘라 ngamdaro da kale shebje 총송 야 되네요 다가 로 첨부된데 지 돈데 벨헬러 로시제 돈도다고 지산데 수보기 수불에 대해서 겨와 있으래로
And then it's going to vary from body to body and age. What I have noticed is with healthy people where the breathing is stronger, there is more discomfort around the breath. The inhalations are long, but it's harder for them to breathe in. And when it's harder to breathe in, that can make the condition of anxiety that you breathe out, but it's very difficult for you to gather your breath in. And I've noticed this with my uncle, who was like 50s or 60s?
69.
69. So he could breathe out, but not breathe in very easily. But the older monks or the older people, they tend to go through that dissolution of breath in a much softer, calmer manner without that anxiety.
제가 디 때 처음에도
Middle.
제가 디 팀림지도 담당해서 중앙 팀림에서 다 낭배 슈네 곰잡에 또지 아니 팀림디제 디 용야든데 용구요래 와 다디 곰자야디 나단 되어 용구요래 나단 되어와 나단 되어 차네 하든데 단 해년저던 데니 냠낸 시지 구슬남지 있어야든데 치워주고 받을롱고 겨워주고 있어야든데 요라 어딘데 곰이데 당보 몇바체 공공공 어느 제일에 셈바 템보체 수수 심래 당지시데 롱라 당지시데 롱라와 안당한저 두스레 도 내가라 심 코란라 세리기 차코나 유어다야 돌아야다 냠내 쪼드는 게 요래와 신의 군도 셈바 템보체야다 셰럽게 셈바 상보서야다 셈바 충보서야다 그래서 셈바 코란라야 네 먼저 배나 슈마르와 양라요라 캔도기 요르와 그 세부서야라 세부디 간데 유미 돌 짠짠 되셔다 배전치기 요래 도 가들라 어딘데 로단직든데 예스라
Now, those within Buddha Dharma, the explanations of those dissolutions of elements and how they're meditated upon does relate to the practice of Tantra, specifically Deity Yoga Tantra, and the taking of the three bodies of three ordinary bodies of death, intermediate state, and rebirth into the bodies of a Buddha, of Dharmakaya, Sambhavakaya, and Nirmanakaya. That is within the tantric practice. But if we just look at it from a sutric the perspective of sutra, we're just looking at mind's clarity, just that clear and aware nature of mind, which to manifest or be aware of that level is working with breath control and calm abiding in that sense, shamatha, with a view to cultivating wisdom or stability of mind. The analogy that's given is that there is a candle, and we want to make the candle's flame extremely clear and bright. That takes effort.
다 응아게 가들라 룽라야 아니 컨트롤지다 속도스고요 룽디 까고요 와 배낭아서 슈마지데 룽이나 세우 슈마파지 육도 세우면도 와
Yeah.
아니 그 타디 룽디게 까잖아 아니 슈마디 세우용도 와 탑람 데레다 응아게 냠nen시나 데레다
But within Tantra, what you're doing is controlling the winds, the flow of wind in the channels, because if the winds are shaken or not moving smoothly, there's a lack of clarity. So Tantra is all about controlling wind element.
저는디 양라게 슈마디 타디 룽디게 까잖아 아니 왜 세우용도 안 들어
Yeah.
룽이나 슈마 세우용도 어디나시래
It's similar to when the grosser winds stopped, the clear light, if it's completely still, the clear light of the flame of the candle becomes apparent. But if there's a lot of movement in the wind, the flame will not be steady or clear.
어디체 대전다 나게 냠니 람단 된다 두저 람 곰단 두저 왕 톨로면 시셔고요 말에 봐 Tadi chiranzo da diri khasore. O da chik duk siya chire da. Chasan she na she yomar da. Gomyo zira wache. Dinde ki nga ki nyamlen la dine, ani lung ya duyo yung du zangala, an tanda ki chirim di ye takta yungu yor da. Lung sugu na la tsui duyo je, thara nga zo gomzi jab sanga dina shi jab indi, ani sugu duyo me ne yama tim inde samdang di. Ani lung di je tim, lung timbe na la, ani sa chu me lung la timbe ta, chi ta, nang ta, ani di je, ani chiwe we se sim thamo di. Ani gomjawe togu ya, che, ani duzu lamji ngo la je tu se. 다 낭베 태고 준비 추기 냠네 내가 저다 두즈레 다 대창주 셈데 창주 셈이 올게다 네 동반이 올게다 저다 지도 녀몽 다 자와 자와제 녀몽게 자와 로 이런 이모션 게 자와드니다 방야게 탑람디 시기요를 제단디 나단 데베 토네 미주다 나도 마덴바 곰자 탑람디 요마르 제단 딜라야다 왕신이 타고로 왕세에 가서는 뒤 곰초비 촉진 터베야 되려 봐 제가 촉진데 매나 계지 셰비나 펜도 요 말이 지난줄 예 계지 셰비는 지난줄에 펜도 제요 말 왕 모아마들랑 계지 셰데비나 아니 누가랑 좀 미신다 저기 티거트 키제 남진나도는 남진나 땅 말봐 그러 예 매드기 티거트 키제 나르신 에버도는 같은 거 말봐 지금 얘기하래 말 촉진 되요 말하고 그 답디 어디다 지고 그랬잖아 와 매벌은 나게 냠nen도 제대는 펜마도 배션 뇌가 제니가요 뇌야니가요 제대로 드리도도 네 시험하고 싶어 이나딘데 냠nen 지에지 요레스로 전한저 제월랑에 기승네 시에서 참 당고 찬주그 셈 잠도 찬주그 셈 닝제 그래서 돈이도 별로 니종 아니 신이딘지 디제디 야고치고요 디제디 간라니 말이야 주고요 당은저디 제르무싱이 다 주거디 독스 장마시오지 로데기요 시림 디젤 메나 완데 되게요 말에 시림 유니라면서 관주 관중만 줄 되게요 말은 거네시나 어디 인도디 냠낸 체는 아다 냠낸 체는 수술을 치워라 최단단다디 베베다 공부도 전화라 타워망고 투담라 쇼고도 와도 건데 냠낸 어디 지기요다 냠낸 체베 그 따디 어디 땡겨요다 시도도 지우지 시도요 봐
So then what allows one to practice that tantric path can only come from firstly having a foundation before it, and then one has to have an empowerment to be able to practice tantra, that tantric path, because one has to be able, there has to be, except for those that are empowered to do so, there has to be like a permission around it. And because in the Tantra, what you're beginning to do is work with the winds and the dissolution of winds and the stages by which they dissolve. So as we have been through earth into water, water into fire, fire into wind, and that slowly into the other levels of consciousness. And in the, combined with these practices, then one gets to more subtle levels of mind, where one can generate or meditate on such things as bodhicitta, emptiness, cutting the roots of afflictions or stopping them. So all of that is based or has a relationship to the tantric vehicle. And if one has been empowered or has the initiation, then one has the permission to do or to practice that. If not, it can be talked about, but there will be not so much benefit. It would be like, giving someone a plane ticket that's in your name and them trying to use it. So if I gave my ticket to Matt, he couldn't board because he wouldn't have permission to board that plane, isn't it? So that would be the analogy of trying to talk about these practices without you having been granted permission. So with those practices then, that's why I mentioned yesterday the importance of these foundation levels before you even get to the tantric utilization stage, the practices of bodhicitta, altruism, the understanding of reality, wisdom, consciousness, realizing emptiness, the correct reliance on the guru, then tantra is possible. And then we have within Lama Tsongkhapa's lineage all of that valid to this day. But without having those foundations, there could be more harm than benefit in talking about it.
I met some people here. They're reading lots of tantric texts, and they're using channels, and some they use Rigi. They do third eye open.
Right.
And they're watching lots of tantric YouTubes nowadays, and they do let it practice, and they have some experience, and mind become a little bit chaotic, crazy,
Crazy.
Chaotic, not really stable. And they ask me, and as they're talking lots of channels, and so on. So we need base good devotion. They say, I need coming down. If I need coming down, Nama power vesta. Nama power vesta. They like that. Nama power vest. Kalawra injiziladi. I need it.
Will I come down?
Yeah, yeah. And they say, of course, you already come down. But they think I'm very high. They're very high, but reality is already there, but they think I need coming down, need basic lot of things. They never did basic meditation. They do lots. You're very careful. This listening or reading book. Necessarily no need to read this without permission. And some texts honor, dagini honor, and they give you punish. You're very careful. This is the reason people become crazy. They conzo sung마도 숭겹친이 여러와.
Yeah.
촉제 매발라 제베이나 아니 예바라 년가 여러. 제가 뇽바차지 릭지인데 여러다 대와 여러다 저릭도.
There are particular texts that are protected, or the protectors protect those texts. So if you partake of them without permission, then there's a danger you'll become a patient, you'll get sick.
This is reality, without your permission, you can't do business open here in New Zealand, We need permission, business, permission, government. Without the government permission, then you have lost problem, isn't it? Exactly the same. Not much dependent like that.
Kisla tukdam kola lamdu, gombanangla. Chigita mangbuyo trapa.
Lamandu.
Lamandu.
Karjin.
Labge.
Only this go. It is a chotamaja. That the ne yorba kasa. Tanda di gom javeni, Penandanda di yorba kasa. Anzu tanda chida nanda de timsia yorba, and the midday, and motion but on the Cedula, married 2 years, Cedula, Lojunala, Tata Tidwadi. Gende injita jeme injina la juru yongura inji gyurtuna yawoda
Yeah.
dinala ni mangoyo mare dinala koran sunda koran gom jab yondu tandanga zo chi ta na de se de chigwa chigya gom jab de yongudo sirwa temna la bejena la yoba nashi chigita nangata tuwa de mikju de se jorwa odije de chaza yongudo koran la de tokwa de jungjo nyamnyo de chungwa ni pinja agula de shedo ngada jeyo mare Kurangla dinde yungudos komjabdi di tokpadi je yungudos de jela loju na la chazan de team do be butagoran de team ina de na la loju de na le dinde do kurang komjaba dang ani pejena ne sheba na shin da na zo chigda na ga kundo jaju team ri naw kalam chawamalam yedo na la chiwe wese se de je ta da shargdos ra chazan de zo da gom nyamlen chewe tok yunga yo res ra
And these practices that do occur during the dissolution process, these stages through meditating on them, these outer and inner signs of dissolution. There's a meditator I'm familiar with called Sechu, whom the interpreter also met. He had such experiences. It would be good if his biography came out. My uncle knew him. And, there were these outer and inner signs. He had insights, and just as were stated in the text. Although not clearly stated in his story, it was that, like these 80 conceptual thoughts and then going through these clear light stages actually happened to practitioners.
제가 따든데 배낭에 내기게로 내게 배전 랑 요바라고 총어래로 내게 배랑 랑 요에 돈이 총버렸어.
Yes.
음.
For example, my teacher, it appears he died with control, freedom.
He lived in the monastery and he was very serious sick. He has cancer, ulcer operation, big operation. Maybe after 3 years, his looks become normal person. And then one day he saw something student not really proper listening. I think 2-3 student, and he so upset. And he next day his body 가서 내 추사와 나도 추사가요 추사.
Oh, I don't know that one.
근데 what's it? 추사고요. 나도 추사해도 강바성모 방보샤용도. 추사고.
Where the limbs swell up.
추사고서 그래.
What's it called? Yeah.
It's a funny story that time. And doctor give medicine. They say let's see water come out. And then they are making sweet tea. And the monk loves tasting. And then some monk put this medicine, put our tea. And me and my other friend, we need to go to often go to bathroom. And they are so laughing. What's going on? I need to go. I'll stay. Me and my other friend, we drink sweet tea. They put one pill, put our tea. And they're so laughing. We often go to bathroom. What's going on? And someone said they put the teacher pill put on the tea. Manga teasing sometimes a little bit danger. And then amazing, and then he said, "Oh, we go to Nepal holiday." He asked me, "Yeah, I'm his attendant that time." And then I'm learning very serious. My mind to go to start, and other teachers request me, my main teacher, "Oh, please don't take him in Nepal. Otherwise, it's so long gap, and he's start to go down. Others all classmates go up, and he go down. This is big gap. It's not real good for him." I heard this, and my teacher changed his mind. Okay, you sit here, and I can take other student. And then each student calling and give advice and give money and make all clear. Or he extra clothes give everything. He make it very clear. And then he was can't move, and every day his legs become bigger, and he can't walk sometimes. We carry two months carry. And then his cousin, the home teacher, and he changed and etiquette changed. Few days easy, and then he's so upset. You don't know what going on. I need mass, I need ticket. And he's so angry. He gives lots harsh word to me at the home teacher, and he's so nervous. He usually never ever had like that situation. And everyone a little bit nervous or what's going on, or teacher so upset. Teacher loves yelling, "You don't know what's going on." I know. I said, "I know where I'm going." Something he's talking. I heard like that. And then he, my house teacher, he changed. He found some ticket in December, Tibetan lunar calendar, December 25. And then from Nepal, his student Sonam, he came. He today December 23rd out of the 23rd, and he is walking. My teacher walking. He show up and I can walk, And he went all the big monastery, or Buddha, Kada, and then all students being there, and he went to walk. Usually he sometimes go to Koshanaga for 3 hours. And he walked this. And then 2 days later, he went to Nepal, 25, and 25, 26, 27, he passed away. And 27, how do he pass away? He talking with the son on the chair, talking, give advice. And advice finished, then gone. No sick, no pain. He give advice, talking, and talking all speech. It was finished. And Sonam says, holding his hand, he dead, happily dead. This is happily dead. Dire kiuje siya dire taro nazani yo mare ngamda yo mare keje transore ro.
That is a happy death. No sickness, no anxiety. Talk gently and go.
Before he moved in Sarah, he make very clear. Everything is make clear. Yeah, this is I saw my teacher, you know. This share you my teacher's story. And then he did 2 down meditation, 13 days. Yeah, it is. 다 데레 땅 안에서 단다 딘데다 람산 연구 말이 되래. 땅 안에서 곰 냠내 가르쳐 버려라나. 다 단다디 라마체베나를 찍지어로 라나마지 집에 되지나 센다 산절함에 보아이 동아yan다죠. 동아yan다죠. 다베 신디 교회 친일로. 동아yan다죠. 냠내다 동아기 냠내체. 당 안에서 람나마지 집에 되지나서는 다릭 산선에 치 곰자 세디 수수 셈 컨트롤 치마도 치톰나 약쇼로 와 단능한저 기계나 신지지 시초그로 라왕 돈에 시초그로 다 데메는 이나 안에 다가르서스나 다 똥마가 거네 냠내 치제다 초그레스다 다릭 두스네 치세야 되래다 똥마 냠내 치야 돼 먼저 다릭 두스네 치고 레와 산선에 치세야 돼 수수수수라 저 치월라 라왕요 바지 람곰베터 그 중부이나 디 레와산스네 겨래로 다 기생시와는 다릭 두스네 치세야 돼 똥마가 냠내다 이마지기 냠내 단단해라다 드리네 치 당아도 가주토도 그 제고요로 어디 시기요레스라.
So in terms of you know that relative who stayed in the death dissolution meditation for 13 days, such a practice might not come at once for us, but we can slowly through meditation gain control and get to those levels. As it states in the Guru Puja prayer, if my time of death comes before I've completed the points of the path, I seek your blessings that I may be led to a pure land through the instructions of correctly applying the 5 powers. These 5 powers, or the Guru's transference, the forceful means to enlightenment. So, by practicing these 5 powers, in fact, we are preparing for our future lives. In best case, we can have control over our minds at death. If not, then by preparing with these 5 powers, we can get ready for that.
다 똥마디 가rel라디 펜베도 가버서벤도 콤베도 나마순지메도 ngoato so 똥마디레스다.
Yeah. So those 5 powers are the power of the benefiting intention, the power of the white seed, the power of a kind of remorse or being disgusted, the power of familiarity, and the power of prayer.
다 당보디 펜베도 없어야 돼. 간저 쇼베야 람바다 간저 당기 계산 시에 방저 건다. 쇼베야 람바다 다 드리네 말아베 야 옥당 유충 버디 개와 상보이 다 드리네 지 가즈투도게 셈바 상보 체제 아니 밀라 펜도 체도버지 시도버 치기 세야 돼. 펜베도 되래다.
The first of these powers, the beneficial intention, is as we mentioned the other day, upon waking up and taking one's first breath, one reflects how lucky one is, and then just today I will be kind to others.
다 드네 가버 사변 것도 없어야 돼. 딱 개와 쳐야 돼. 밀로 와 쳐야 돼. 이거 밀라 로바치야 돼 밀라 로바치 다 튼줄로 로바치 저랑도 같이 튼줄로 빼야고 지도 빼야고 그래로 아니 지 구육다 딘데로 로바치는 미단 튼줄 상말라야 펜도기도 알아 구육 숨절 로바치야 돼 미단 튼줄 상말라다 zamling kuyu pazo donita dongye shibje yonggo yorwa da jidan dezola jiya da kecheche de dang anzo da 먼저 dewa ngose pen toya yenjo ge da ngose de dewa yue den jo ge midije la 가져 두도 그 펜도 제고를 해서 봐. 이 펜도 제가 될라다. 가고 사면서 디 개워서야 돼. 밀라 펜도야. 무슨 규수네. 펜도야 그 개워 차와들라. 개워서라고요. 그래서 가고 사면 것도 없어야 돼. 어디를 해서
That second power then of the white seed is talking about virtues in the sense that we are helping others, helping other humans, and some of you are really concerned about animals and set out to help them and or society, and also seeing that the suffering that the world is going through now, a lot of suffering, and the wish to help. But really, we're talking about benefiting others in a virtuous way. And that has to begin with those you are connected with, doesn't it? So really those that are close to you. And because virtue is delighting and helping, isn't it? That's what virtue is. So that's that second power.
다 되네 콤베도 없어야 돼. 개와 양대 양대 지어야 되다. 곰도 양대 양대 자야. 아니 밀라 편도 지어도 양대 양대 지야. 로고 지어도 양대 개와 망고 사야 되다. 양대 개와 직선은 다 직선에서 맞아야지.
Yeah. So this third power of habituation or familiarity is that you do virtuous things to help others, but you do them again and again and again so that it becomes habituated and you don't stop thinking you've done enough.
개와디 나 밀라 편도 지어야 돼. 내가 가서 자신나 야구라라.
Yeah. The action of helping others, best if it's as vast as you want to go.
다데네디 넘버 순진베도 없어야 돼. 아니 가르에서는 아주 디레 시바디 다 시발람난디 장가디 쳔샤. 란진지기 당 아주 개와치야 돼. 란진지기 로리기도 면도 돼래로. 아주 던데 신라 편도 지기 랍사로. 다야딜라 레와딘데 레네. 네 바디 신행아디 나라 민용야서 나라 베샤야서 나라 조고망고 용야서 된데기 란진지기 로일레 용나나 란진지디다 녀그더서니 유나메나지를 가란들어. 지산다 신된디 바시 용어치야데라 아니 란진지 예다 용구도 미도다 란진지 레고도나 란진지 테마니디 파도고 나바 순진 버스 란진지 파도제다 신의 편바 인상을 가서 dur고래서.
The fourth power is the almost like disgust or being fed up with self-interest, constantly checking one's mind. Is there self-cherishing in one's mind or not? Because previously we mentioned of the beneficial intention to help others or be virtuous. So consequently checking whether your mind is on that or it is of self-interest. Your mind could be just thinking about your reputation, your money, and or having more friends. But once you have generated a concern only for others' welfare, what's going to get in the way of that is self-cherishing. So then constantly checking, is my mind consumed with self-interest or not?
해당 알아서 가서 그래서는 알아서 동해 되고요 말이래. 동해 망고시 연구도 알아.
Yeah.
강에다 참아디고디 되고요 말이래. 연구도가 네 가르치는 연구로서는 다 라니 진진 숙체타고 연구요. 당 알아서 잠블링 체사 잠블링을 찾아다. 가서 제가 요거 용야실라. 아니 제가 신달라 투저 땅 미리 신달라 투저 땅도 강에 가져도 알아. 제가 때 사사에 있네 강에도 와.
Yeah.
다 데나시 컴퍼니레 간저 컴퍼니디 야고 용 신달라 야고메 삼다나 뉴 딘데 컴퍼니디 강에 요요래. 안데네 조고 조mol레 다가나래. 당저 나 짠짠미시 삼다지 메사나 녀더미시 민도 와지나는 거. 란신지디 딱 답에 구버군지 고라워지 쪼러워지 다간저 동해선이 그 수바바자라고 저래 다 간다로.
Yeah.
다 보성군 해대 단지 요래 잡로데.
So then it is the case that we do not wish to suffer But somehow difficulties come up and problems come up for us all the time. And they're a result of our self-cherishing, our self-interest. And this can happen also that we're overpowered by those thoughts. But it also happens in a collective way in terms of a country thinking that their country is the best, and then the borders. And then it also happens with a company thinking it's better than another company, or a friend, friends thinking they're better. Anyway, it is this constant thought of I, sort of like a self-interest, a self-cherishing thought. As it is said, self-cherishing is the source of all our woes. It's almost like the supervisor, but actually, even behind that, again, there is ego clinging, which is deeper still. Yeah, those are really the troublemakers, those two. Self-cherishing, self-clinging. Yeah, those two are really the troublemakers.
당보 책조 된다 상노다 갈래 도도도도체 아니 교학 데스다 지그란레 신 데스 케처리 임바레 삼성의 충분히나 아니 시달 hö고 강이 충아 남자 충아 스트레스 용아 저거 좀 많아 시다 야고 요래서라.
Yeah. And in the context of the mind training teachings, countermeasures to that self-cherishing, these slogans: banish all blames to a single source, or drive all blames into one, and secondly, meditate on the great kindness of all. These are fantastic pieces of advice for us to firstly memorize by heart, and when we come across problems and difficulties, recite them initially and then reflect on the meaning. And of course, the 8 verses of mind training, seeing sentient beings as more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel, I shall hold them most dear at all times. So first one says such verses, then one reflects on them, and slowly the mind can go through change, because then it's more about them than me. And once you start to focus more on them than you, stress becomes less, there's less worry, there's less anxiety, you're more relaxed.
More friends?
More friends.
And more animal likes you? What is show? That is show, right?
We'll break this session now.
Page 31 for the short mandala.